So, Khalil, first of all, then, can you tell me, in your opinion, how can Latin American operators expand their reach and optimize their presence and their performance in the digital gaming market?
To really expand in the Latin markets, operators should be really focused on hyper-localization and a mobile-first approach. They shouldn't really copy European or North American platforms. They should really focus on integrating local culture and local payment solutions, of course, like Pix in Brazil, for example. Um, this is a big. They also need to diversify their performance and through diversifying their acquisition channels.
Right.
So they need to focus on top funnel and lower funnel, involving meta and media buying for like a scale acquisition, PPC for high intent traffic, and CRM for long term retention. They of course need to stay agile with the compliance and the local regulations, because that's evidently what builds long term trust with players.
And that's changing constantly, isn't it? I mean, the
100%.
legislation was made actually only last year, so that's a
100%.
constant. There's a lot of political pressure going on within this country
100%.
around the changes in legislation. So
Very true.
let's watch this page.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Moving on then, what trends are you seeing in player behavior and engagement that are shaping the strategies of the gaming operators in this region?
I think one of the most interesting trends we're seeing is the shift towards fast formats.
Uh-huh.
I think that comes, not as a surprise with the social media generation we're living with. Uh, I would say things like crash games, things like instant win mechanics, mobile-friendly micro bets. These are very popular among the younger audience, more fast-paced audiences. We are also noticing a shift in esports betting, a spike in esports betting. Games like Counter Strike, Dota 2, they are also seeing the equal amount of traction as traditional football and traditional sports nowadays. So operators definitely need to shift their strategies to include these high engaging sessions rather
Yes.
than just rely on traditional long form casino play.
Yeah, because it's no longer the case that people want to bet on traditional sports like football and so on. I mean, there's a whole other world of entertainment
Exactly,
out there, which
100%.
only exists
It's
within
such a bigger
platforms.
playing field right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. Um, so, how do you think then that operators can leverage data-driven insights and technologies to improve conversation retention and overall player experience?
I think data is everything here. By leveraging data, operators, by analyzing data, actually, they are able to see exactly where the players drop off, and they can use AI then to deliver or offer personalized recommendations, such as, let's say, a highly relevant bet just before a match starts. And these recommendations are all driven by how they use their data and how they utilize it, and they sync it with their internal databases. On top of that, and equally important, they absolutely have to leverage the compliance features and the responsible gaming features, because one of the biggest retentions in iGaming period, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinion, is when players tend to trust your platform, when players feel secure, when players feel safe and understood, that's what keep players coming back. When they see that you are there and you are very cautious about their own safety and their own security, their own money and their own user experience, you access. This is key in sustainability and long-term player retention.
I think that would be particularly with my knowledge of Brazilian culture, I've lived here for many years, that would be even more pertinent here because there is this, we call it colo in, which means the mother's lap. You know, you go to the place where you feel protected and looked
100%.
after.
100%.
So,
And the operators are now also leveraging or highlighting more of these features that they didn't do before, like fraud detection. Like, this is what we're doing for responsible gaming. And on top of the regular acquisition approaches. They have to go hand in hand because it's not all about the fun. I cannot have fun if I don't feel safe. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Okay, and then finally, what do you see as the biggest opportunities for growth and innovation in Latin America's gaming market over the next 5 years?
I believe the biggest opportunity is to see the maturation of the regulated markets. Brazil, of course, will act as the heavy hitting anchor. It will set the standards essentially, but it will be very interesting to see how the continent regulates one by one, market by market. And when they do that, I think the recipe for success will be in driving or converting the gray market players into the regulated channels. And I believe that the real innovation will be if you can combine a strict compliance with a fun, frictionless, and a highly localized product. I think operators who will succeed at doing that will see incredible success and long-term sustainable growth.
Right. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Even though, in fact, as a region, Latin America is a lot of very
100%.
different
100%. It's not
territories.
just a monolith.
No,
It's,
absolutely. And I'm going to throw in a question, right? If you can
of
answer
course, of
this or not.
course.
What do you, what, in your opinion and with your knowledge, are the major differences between the European market and the very young Brazilian market in speaking about iGaming and online?
In my opinion, the European market has existed for such a long time, but also in the South American market has also existed in equally long amount of time. The behavioral differences is in fact a local, as I was touching base on the why is localization important. It's because the local aspect really matters. You cannot cater to what works in Denmark or what works in the UK and have it exactly work in Brazil, for example. We have noticed a lot of operators pull out of markets because they use this copy-paste mechanic and they failed. The main difference, I believe, is a slight behavioral difference where players are tend to be way highly engaged and more prone to diversifying where they play in Latin America versus a higher sense of loyalty in on the European platforms. But this is changing with the regulations as well. Operators are seeing this as a major concern and they're more focusing on, okay, how can we make our players feel more safe? How can we make them stay? And the answer is always like you need to make them feel safe, secure, and you need to give them what they want. You need to offer these fast-paced environments, these this fast format games, but on top, not losing grasp of the bigger picture here is which is protecting them as players. And I believe that is now seeing more and more traction in Latin America, which is very nice to see.
Great, fabulous. Thank you very much. That was very
Thank you,
good.
Karen.